Hey, how's it going guys? Jack and Matt here with the Toasty Bros, and today we're actually building a budget gaming PC in 2021.
It may not be easy for you to do it at home, but we're gonna show you with a little bit of patience you can actually pull it off and find a decent graphics card at a decent price, maybe. But before we get into that, let's hear a word from today's sponsor. Today's video is brought to you by Lexar, your one-stop shop for all your storage needs. Stay tuned to the end of today's video to learn more about how you can upgrade your PC storage with their new Lexar NM620 SSD. Special thanks again to Lexar for sponsoring today's video.
So this is one of our OG back when times were better PC builds, and all the links in the description down below, we'll try to keep up to date. They're affiliate links and they do help us out. I just heard a train whistle blow. But long story short, all of this stuff is very readily available, except the graphics card, they don't really make 480s new still. So you're gonna have to go on a site like eBay or even maybe find one locally. Try not to spend more than like $200 on one. But a 480 is still really good because it's actually very close to performance to like a 570 or a 580.
So how about we not waste any more time and talk about each individual part and how it makes up this PC build.
So for the processor, we have the Intel i5 11400. This is a 6-core 12-thread processor, and it's on Intel's latest and greatest platform. We did a video recently testing out the 11500's integrated graphics, but obviously that didn't really matter because we have this RX 480. So we really recommend going with this 11 Gen i5 because there actually is a little bit of an improvement over the 10th Gen i5 and i3s. For the motherboard, we have the Asus Prime B560 Plus. Now, if you want to save a little bit of money on this aspect, go with the Micro ATX motherboard. We're obviously using a full-size ATX case, which Matt will be talking about, so this is going to look really good in there, but you can get a B560 or B460M for around $60 to $70 at times. Now, for a full-size, you're probably going to spend over $100 most of the time, so if you want to save a little money, go with that. But this one has all the nice features we need. We has 4 RAM slots, comes with the Toast CPU socket, which Asus was nice enough to do for us as always. And yeah, it's a nice black looking motherboard too. Now for the RAM, we actually use this in another video and that's why it's open, but long story short, crucial ballistics, 16 gigs, 3200 megahertz. We really like this stuff because honestly, RAM's kind of expensive right now, and you know, Crucial used to be like really expensive, like a lot more than Team Group and some like XPG, some of the cheaper brands, but now Crucial Ballistics is actually on par as far as pricing goes for most of that stuff, so we always recommend going with the top dog if you can.
Top dog.
Top dog. This right here is also open because Matt just has this weird thing where he likes to smell M.2 NVMe SSDs. What does it smell like?
It smells like technology.
Storage? Okay. So yeah, this is a SN550. We really like these because they're NVMe. They're usually the cheapest aside from the Crucial P1 SSDs, and they're tiny. No external cables. You just put it into the motherboard and then it works.
Just like that. Easy peasy.
And they're fast.
And now for the graphics card. We picked up an RX 480 from MSI, but don't let this being from MSI fool you. This is a straight reference card, so it has a blower style design, which isn't the greatest for thermals, but given the market, we'll take pretty much anything. An RX 480 4 gig can pretty much play any game you want at medium high settings. Some newer games you might have some trouble, but the fact we were able to pick this up for $200 makes it a pretty decent value, and you at home might be able to pick these up because a lot of people are paying attention to like the 580s and 570s, so definitely consider looking out for this one. Now for the power supply. We have an Aries Game 500 watt power supply, our traditional go-to option on Amazon with their nice sleeve cables, which we always talk about. We can never show you at the beginning of the video. Now you can see them, they look nice. And they're really easy to get. They've been really reliable. We've had no problems with them whatsoever, and we're very excited using this build. 500 watts should be plenty for this with a few upgrades in the future. And last but certainly not least, we have this beautiful case from Raidmax. I think it's called the X6. I could totally be wrong, but link in the description down below. It was like $70. Comes with 2 RGB fans in the front, a mesh front filter, which is really awesome for airflow, and it just looks really cool. There's a lot of awesome cheap RGB cases out there, so you don't have to spend a ton of money to get a really nice looking build. And yeah, we're very excited to put this one together. How we don't waste any more time and see how it looks. right, ladies and gentlemen, now that we have this $800 gaming PC all booted up and ready to go, let's talk about some benchmarks real quick. Now, we tested this PC in a handful of titles, those being Fortnite, Call of Duty Cold War, Apex Legends, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and Rainbow Six Siege. First up, in our favorite game, Fortnite, on pro settings, which is epic view distance, everything else on low, we averaged over 200 plus, sometimes 300 plus FPS. This is where the i5-11400 can stretch its legs. The 11th gen architecture with the new IPC improvements really can give you some super high frame rates in games like Fortnite when it's definitely CPU dependent, and when you're running on lower settings, you are leaning much more on the CPU than the GPU. So in this situation, this PC is absolutely perfect for esports titles on lower settings. So games like Fortnite, CSGO, Valorant, you should get a well over 100 plus FPS experience and easily capable of running on a good 144Hz monitor if you really want to. Now, where you'll start to see where the system starts to struggle is on higher end AAA titles like Call of Duty Cold War, which on medium-low settings at 1080p, we got 60 FPS, but there were a lot of dips below 60, which makes for a not-so-great gaming experience. The RX 480 is a good card, don't get me wrong, and the fact that you can pick this thing up for $200 on the used market sometimes makes it for a pretty good placeholder card given the market right now, but it does have its limitations, and Call of Duty Cold War is definitely one of those with a few dips below 60 FPS, but I think that's a trade-off I'm willing to make for an actual gaming PC under $1,000 that has a dedicated graphics card in 2021. Next up, in Apex Legends, on medium settings, we got over 70 FPS. Apex is another esports title that's a little bit more demanding than Fortnite, so we decided to throw it into the benchmark rotation, and I was very happy with the results. The RX 480 can definitely handle its own in a game like this, and that i5 really gives a good base for this PC to be easily upgraded with a better graphics card in the future. You could easily slap in a 3060 or 3070 and get double the frame rate compared to this PC right now, so definitely consider this as a temporary solution if you're holding out on purchasing a PC. Now, Shadow of the Tomb Raider is our built-in benchmark of choice, and this is going to totally stress the RX 480, and on medium settings, we ended up getting an average of 62 FPS. So in theory, you can play most AAA titles at medium-low settings at 1080p and get a 60 FPS experience, which is really all you can ask for a PC at this price point, given everything going on in 2021. And last but certainly not least, we decided to test Rainbow Six Siege, which is another esports title we like to test, and with the built-in benchmark tool at high settings, we averaged 194 FPS. Again, a really playable experience that would work really well on a high refresh rate monitor, which I think you should definitely consider if you pick up this PC because it makes for an awesome gaming experience. So overall, I'm incredibly happy with this PC for the money. I never thought we could do a budget PC in 2021, but somehow we managed to do it, and I think this is a good meta to follow if you're looking to get into PC gaming right now and try to avoid all the issues going on with the market. So definitely check those links in the description down below. Don't get discouraged if you can't find a graphics card right away. Stay patient, keep hunting, and you'll definitely find some good deals. How about going to bring Jackson back in here to wrap this video up real quick? Are you looking to up your storage game? Then you should look no further than the NM620 NVMe SSD from Lexar. This SSD features 3,300 megabytes per second read and 3,000 megabytes per second write speeds, along with the latest 3D NAND flash, and capacities of 256 gigabytes, 512 gigabytes, and 1 terabyte. Lexar is known for making the most powerful yet value-focused storage drives on the market, and this one is no exception. So whether you're upgrading your PC for more storage or wanting to improve your speed, Lexar should be your one-stop shop for your next gaming SSD. Special thanks again to Lexar for sponsoring today's video. Now, let's get into the rest of the video, shall we?
Alright guys, so for an $800 budget in 2021, this one basically hits the head on the nail and plays pretty much every game that you could want it to play.
Of course, the RX 480 is the bottleneck in this system, but that's something you can upgrade in the next like 5 years when graphics card prices get better. Hopefully it's not 5 years, that'd be pretty awful, but the RX 480 is still very capable of playing pretty much any game you throw at it, and that 11400 is a great starting point for, well, upgrading in the future. So highly recommend this build for the money. If you do want to purchase this thing, use the link in the descriptions down below. There are the links that do help us out, and we'll try our best to link multiple places where you could buy something like the RX 480, because that's probably gonna be the hardest part to get this build made.
So we hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you check out our other 2 YouTube channels and also our twitch.tv/toastybros. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
We'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.
So fun fact, this PC was actually for a customer at PC Bros.
If you want to buy a PC from us, because you know what, it's just better that way, link in the description down below, or head on over to pcbros.tech and buy a build we have on the site or place a build consultation. See you guys later. Goodbye.